What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the Yamaha Bolt and if it's a good motorcycle for you. Now, if you're looking at getting a motorcycle like the Yamaha Bolt or the Yamaha Bolt, there's a few things you need to ask yourself. If you're a new rider, what are your experiences on? Where are you coming from? You ever rode a motorcycle, or you never rode a motorcycle before? You need to consider all those questions before getting a bike for your safety, right? I personally never drove a motorcycle in my life. I jumped on the Honda 954 Street Glider or Fireblade or whatever it's called. Beautiful bike, fast. It was something that I shouldn't have bought to learn on. Why? Because it was too much power, and thankfully I made it out alive, right? Jesus Christ, you all right there? But it was definitely a fun motorcycle, I won't lie. Now my friend Juan, look at this other guy running the red light, bro. Like, what the fuck? Now my friend Juan, he bought a brand new 2022 Harley Davidson Street Bob, and that's a big bike. I think that's like a 1300 something like that cc's. It's 113 cc. It's a big bike, right? And he never rode a motorcycle before, I don't believe, but he did went and took some classes, and that helped him out. That helped him out a lot, I believe. We rode together a few times. You know, he's still learning every day. But you also gotta consider, ask yourself if you are qualified to get a bike, right? So let's jump back into that now. In my opinion, this is what I love about the bike. It's how reliable this motorcycle is. Yamaha makes some of the absolutely most reliable motors out there, and I think the Yamaha Bolt will last me for a good minute, right? Number two, it's how it looks. The sporty looks it has, it's really mesmerizing. I really do get a lot of compliments on it. Many people believe it's a Yamaha, a Harley, and I see a little bit of the resemblance of thing, but it really does looks really sporty. It's a motorcycle that you could do many things with it, right? Just like any bike. I've seen people do really nice things with this motorcycle. It's the size of the motor, it's a 950, which has a lot of power to do honestly anything you want. It has enough power for you to cruise around the city. Highway, I will talk about the highway in a little bit. On the cons, I mean on the, what am I talking about? Pros and cons. All right, pros and cons. All right, let's talk about the cons of the Yamaha Bolt. I'll start with how reliable the Yamaha will be and is. Yamaha has built many motors out there, and I've seen them outlast a lifetime. Those motors that they build, they're extremely good, and I believe that the Yamaha Bolt will last as long, right? I only got, I don't know, probably 6,000 miles on it. Yeah, 6,000 miles on this bike, and I'm planning on keeping it for a while, unless I get a nice offer and I buy me something else like a like a Street Glide, right? But that will be later on down the road. I don't think I'll ever sell this thing anytime soon. But anyways, yes, how beautiful this motorcycle is. The way you sit on it, it's really nice. So yes, the way you sit on it is really comfortable. It's nice, it's level. I'm 5'8". I sit perfectly fine. My shoulders don't hurt. I do want to get some taller handlebar, not taller handlebars, I want to get risers, so it lifts them up probably around the height of my mirrors right now, and I will be flipping the mirrors down, but that's gonna be something I'll do later on down the road, right? That's something I will modify for my comfortness, for the way I wanted it to look. But the looks of it as of right now, stock, it looks great, it feels great, it's comfortable, you know, my shoulders don't hurt, my legs are in a, you know, great positioning, and it's just all around great motorcycle. The other thing is the sound of the Yamaha Bolt. It's great. Right now all I have is what is that, Vance and Hines exhaust, 2-to-1, and I love how it sounds. It sounds great. I need to add an intake on it. I will probably go with the same brand and get the ECU reflash, because from what I've seen, that's the way to go instead of getting a program for it. If I could, if once I do all that intake and the tune, I would love to get a dyno and then get a program with it just to see how it does, what the difference is. But that's going to be way down the road. I'm not looking to spend all, you know, that much money on this bike. But that goes to my other thing. The other thing I like about this bike is how cheap it is. And I don't want to say, oh, it's built cheap. I don't want to say it's cheap in a bad way. I want to say it's cheap, budget friendly wise. Brand new, well, it's brand new. Last year I checked, 2022. I got 2022. The price on a brand new one, because this is a 2018. I bought it used. It only had 3,000 miles on it. But the 2022 off the floor room, it was 12,000, right under 12,000. That was with your taxes and everything right out the door. That was the price I was given. And if they would have probably worked with me, you know, dropped maybe an extra 1,000 or 2, I would have probably bought a brand new, but the guy didn't want to work with me. But that's a different story. Like I said, the price from the dealership here where I'm at, it was right under $12,000, which to me that's a great price. So yeah, the price point on this bike, it's really great. The handling of the motorcycle itself, it's really great. I mean, honestly, I don't have no issues, but one that I will talk about in a minute. But all around, great bike. So we have a reliable bike, budget friendly, it looks great, it handles awesome. It's an all in all great bike. Now the things I don't like about this motorcycle is the gauge. There's people and the thing I don't like, first of all, is that it doesn't tell you your gas level, right? So I usually go by the mileage. Every time I fill up, I reset it, and I go about 90 to 100 miles before I fill it back up. That's around the same time the light comes on, maybe 110, depending on how you drive, right? So that's the thing I don't like. It doesn't have your fuel level. The only thing you have is whenever you almost on empty, the light kicks on, hey, you're on empty. Well, you're gonna go on empty. There's also one thing that people complain about that I don't experience, is that when it's a sunny outside, the gauge, it creates a reflection, and people say that's, you know, it blinds them. I never had that issue. I had never seen the reflection of the sun hitting it and hitting my face. So I can't really say that that's my problem. That's something people complain about it. All right, like I was talking about highway speeds, it's around 70 to 80 miles an hour, right? Unless you're in Texas, everybody does 100. Highway miles, the gear on this bike is mostly for city, right? Because by the time you're doing 70, 75, 80, the motor is going to be screaming. It's going to be being revved pretty high unless you change your gearing in the back and it helps you out. I've seen people do it. I personally don't care because I'm mostly doing 60 in the city. Like over here is 55, and that's about it. I really don't do a lot of highway miles because that's not the reason I bought it for. I bought it for mostly in the city, mostly in the little town I'm in. The highest speed you're gonna see here is gonna be 65, 55, 60 miles an hour. Another thing about the motorcycle that a lot of people complain about, and this is a known problem that Yamaha it's aware of, is the dead wobble. What the dead wobble is, if I let go of my steering wheel right now, it's gonna shake like crazy. And you can see it. It could get worse than that though. It could get worse than that. There's way of fixing it. I haven't done anything to fix it yet because Yamaha's response to this issue was, why are you driving without your hands on the handlebar, right? That's why I haven't done anything about it either, because most of the time I have one hand on there. I'm hardly ever gonna let go of my steering, but there's a way of fixing it. Changing bushings, bearings, stuff like that on your tree. But you're capable of doing it, right? And I think that's about it. That's all the problems, I guess, or the things that I don't like about this motorcycle. But many of those things can be changed, right? How to change the glare on this? Well, they sell an aftermarket cluster, an aftermarket gauge that you could buy, and it changes color. It has different LED inside of it. It tells you what gear you're on, because this doesn't tell you what gear you're on. It tells you what gear you're on, the level of the fuel. It tells you all of that. That's how to fix that problem, right? The problem for the handlebar and the shaking, well, the way to fix that is changing your bearings, changing your bushings. And that, I've seen people even change a front tire and they say that helps with the problem. There you go. That's the way of fixing it. Highway speeds. The highway speed, change your gear in the back. If you're somebody that's just starting to learn how to ride a bike, then you eventually, whatever bike you start with, it doesn't have to be the Yamaha Bolt. It could be any bike. You will learn from it. You will learn what you like. You will learn what you don't like. And you're gonna change it out, because that's what they sell aftermarket parts for. They change out, they sell aftermarket parts for you to change the way you ride, the way your motorcycle feels, what makes you comfortable, what doesn't make you comfortable, all of that good stuff, how you want it to look, and everything else in between. But yes, if you made it this far into my video, man, just drop a like, subscribe, share it with a friend. You have a blessed, wonderful day, and stay safe. People are crazy. I think we all are. All right, later.